Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, and today we're going to be covering why Biden signing the TikTok ban bill is going to potentially put him in the DOA category for 2024. Now before we get started with the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new. And let's get into this. And so President Biden signed a bill Wednesday forcing TikTok to find a new owner within a year or face a ban, setting the course for what's likely to be a drawn-out legal battle with potential political costs for the president. His endorsement capped nearly a 4-year effort spanning 2 administrations to cut China's access to the video app used by 170 million Americans. The Senate voted Tuesday to pass the TikTok bill as a part of a broader foreign aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And so really, what's actually quite funny about this is that this is going to put him basically in the DOA category, because let's say, okay, yeah, Biden, TikTok does find a new owner, which according to sources, the owner of TikTok doesn't even want to sign the company with an American owner. And so that puts TikTok in a pretty bad spot. But either way, the political consequences for Biden with this is going to be extremely large. Biden's already struggling with young voters, especially 18 to 29-year-old voters. He's either trailing Trump in some polls, tied with Trump, or leading Trump by a couple points. I think his biggest lead has been like about 12 or 13 points in a single poll from the past 6 months. And so what's quite funny about this is that there is more, implications to this. A lot of people are saying, well, okay, no more brain rot, oh my God, okay, the youth is going to be saved now because there's no more brain rot, but it doesn't matter. YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels still exist. And even though TikTok is considered the worst out of the three when it comes to the whole brain rot phenomenon, it's still going to be there. But the major problem for this is that there's actually quite a bit of economic consequences for the United States because of this. TikTok generated about $16.1 billion in the quarter four of 2023 and more than likely generated about over $50 billion in revenue in 2023 alone, which is actually quite insane. You could see in 2023, it says 16.1 billion. Oh, actually, okay, here it is. Okay, here's the revenue. So pretty much $16.1 billion was drawn in revenue in 2023 alone for American businesses, or at least I think nationwide. However, this is still a pretty big demographic overall. And if you look at TikTok users by age, the biggest demographic who uses it is 18 to 24-year-old voters, and even a lot of 25 to 34-year-old voters are also using this as well. Now, again, this isn't necessarily poll voters, but it is a general age demographic based out of age as a whole. And if we go over here, about 45% of social media users in the US use TikTok at least once a month. 45%. So that is a big portion of the population who uses it. However, even though a lot of people may still be under the age of 18, there is still going to be a quite significant amount of people who are using the app that are above 18. See, TikTok has a potential ad reach of 1.2 billion users aged 18 and above. So this is not this is only going to affect, a minor demographic. This could potentially affect millions of people nationwide, whether it be your average TikTok user, just kind of scrolling around, that now they won't be able to enjoy TikTok, which usually tends to be of the younger category, and especially people who are going to be entering the political sphere, or it be an actual business creator who's actually using TikTok. And what the problem is now is that Biden's actually going to piss off a lot of, big corporations who use TikTok for advertising. So there's a lot of political implications for him for this, but this potentially puts him DOA in almost all of these states, potentially puts him in DOA in Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, because the fact is Biden was already struggling with the young demographic as a whole. That is the main issue. If Biden was polling around the same amount that he was in 2020 with young voters, and then he signed a TikTok bill, then it'd be okay. Well, he could still win, but there'd be more of an issue. But however, because of the fact he's already struggling with this demographic, Trump's floor may end up being 301 electoral votes, with Arizona, Minnesota, and Nebraska being the only states that are a little bit iffy. Even a TikTok ban wouldn't even classify these as DOA for Biden. You could say Arizona maybe is like really, maybe he's DOA in Arizona, but I would honestly say he wouldn't be, because a lot of the votes in Maricopa tend to be a lot of older Democrats that kind of shift the state to the left. So I'm not going to necessarily say he's DOA there, but Biden, this puts Biden DOA, and usually the Rust Belt tends to always vote together. So if Pennsylvania's going red, and the fact on top of that, Trump had a pretty strong primary performance. However, people in the comments are going to be like, well, Biden actually beat him by 200,000 votes, in the entire state. Well, here's the thing, guys. Trump is a non-incumbent and still managed to get around 750,000 votes in a pretty much low turnout environment of 2024, and Biden still underperformed his 2020 vote totals in the primary as an incumbent president against a person who was way less known than Bernie Sanders, which is Dean Phillips. Biden's turnout dropped, I believe, like around 300,000 votes in the state since 2020, and so if he were to lose that many votes, that already cost him the election. And Republicans have been kind of closing the gap between voter registration. So based out of that performance, Trump is still having a decent chance in Pennsylvania. And now with the TikTok ban, he may be certain to win Pennsylvania and even like Wisconsin or Michigan. This probably maybe not guarantees him the victory in Wisconsin, but could probably guarantee him a victory in Michigan and Pennsylvania. And if he's winning these two, he's more than likely winning Wisconsin. So you could see Trump's floor more than likely expand to 295 electoral college votes. This is a very, very bad political move that the incumbent president just took. This is not a good move at all. And the worst part is that it was a part of an aid package to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. So not only are young voters going to hear about how Biden signed a TikTok ban bill, some people are going to find out that it was a part of foreign aid that are going to countries which young voters also don't approve of that either. And so this is going to be a very, very bad thing for the Biden campaign. Very, 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 very bad. And my political take on this is the only reason why Biden wanted to sign this in is the fact that Trump and RFK are actually benefiting from TikTok. Before, it used to be the other way around. Biden kind of used to benefit from basically the masses of TikTok in 2020, which kind of gave him, a boost with young voters. But now Trump and RFK are actually improving because of TikTok, in my personal opinion. And I think the only reason why this is happening is for two reasons. Number one, you have, Trump and RFK improving. And number two, I believe that the whole conversation with Ryan Garcia, which is basically a boxer that just won his fight recently, and he kind of did a whole thing in regards to Bohemian Grove. I believe that conversation about Bohemian Grove definitely sparked, the interest, for President Biden and some legislators to ban TikTok, because of the fact ever since the news started spreading with Ryan Garcia talking about it, that's when the whole TikTok ban thing came about. And I don't necessarily think that is a coincidence. That's my opinion on the whole matter. But as of objective analysis politically, I don't necessarily think, I think this is probably going to doom Biden in 2024, because he's going to just fall out with young voters. I think now there's a potential possibility for him to actually fall with young voters. And his floor may legitimately be 295. Trump's floor may actually be 295 electoral votes, based out of the fundamental that, the Rust Belt tends to vote together in presidential elections. If you actually look at previous results, the last time the three states did not vote together was actually back in 1998, when Wisconsin voted for Dukakis, but not Michigan or Pennsylvania. And ever since then, these states have voted together in every single election, mostly Democrat. But even when Trump won all of them, he was able to kind of carry all three of them together, and Biden flipped all three back. And so the fundamental is, if Biden's going to lose Pennsylvania, based out of this, more than likely Wisconsin and Michigan may be going the way of former President Donald Trump. And this puts Biden basically DOA pretty much. This significantly puts his re-election chances down. Now, this I officially think probably puts him in the dead on arrival category. I think as of right now, Biden does not have a chance of winning the 2024 election, because he's going to massively struggle with demographics. If you look at polling data, this is a model that is testing demographics from 2020 and basically kind of puts it on a 2024 map. If you were to put, turnout might even dip because of this. So that already puts Trump winning. And polls have Biden up literally by single digits with young voters. So let's say Biden's up by 7. That already puts Trump already winning. And this was before the TikTok ban. So let's say he ties with young voters. If Trump were to tie with young voters, he's already winning the election. And that's without even moving white voters, Hispanic voters, even black voters. You haven't even moved them 1 percentage point. If you look, I haven't even moved any of the incumbency or female or male categories or college, non-college, which this would also dip probably college voters for Biden as well. That probably cut his lead by quite a bit. Let's say it probably cuts his lead by about possibly, let's say, he's at 24. Let's say he goes down to like plus 20. That still puts him down, losing the popular vote. So he'd already be losing the popular vote, and Trump would be winning the Electoral College already. And if we look at the margins in the critical swing states, Nevada, he's winning by 3. Michigan, he's actually winning it by a little bit more than Nevada, which is interesting. Arizona, he's ahead there by 5. Wisconsin, he's ahead there by 5. In Georgia, he's ahead there by 6 or 7 points even. In Florida, he's ahead there by about 6 or 8 points. Is somewhere in that range. He's winning Texas by like 11 points. He's winning, Iowa by a decent amount. Alaska by 15. So it's already a bad look, and he's barely losing Minnesota at this point. He's barely winning Nebraska second. So the fact that that's already going to put him in a really bad spot. This TikTok ban thing is going to definitely put him in a bad spot. And if I put the turnout level down to where I had it before, this, that doesn't really change the result necessarily, but it still messes up Biden's path to victory. He loses in all the swing states and also loses Nevada as well. And that's without me even moving any of the other demographics. If you were to shift blacks by 10 points to the right, or even just 5 points, let's say they only shift 5 points and Hispanic shift just a couple of points, that still puts Trump winning the popular vote by 2. Whites shift to the right by let's say 1 point. That puts Trump winning the popular vote by 3. Others shift by maybe a couple points to the right. Asian voters shift to only 5 points to the right, which are very minimal shifts. Let's say, okay, female votes may actually dip for Biden because of the TikTok ban. For the sake of the video, let's say this kind of actually puts him about there. Let's say, male shift just a couple points. That gives Trump Minnesota and New Hampshire. And with non-college, let's say that moves 2 points to the right. And with older voters, let's say he probably actually gains Trump probably gains, a couple votes there. Let's say he gains here, gains a little bit here, because this demographics also be impacted by the TikTok ban. That puts Trump at 357 electoral college votes based off those very, very minimal shifts. He'd be losing Virginia, losing Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, New Hampshire, even losing Maine at large, which is also very interesting too. So that puts him demographically in a really bad spot for 2024, and his victory in 2020 was just too narrow to afford a political, move like that. And so basically the premise of this video is that the TikTok ban basically puts Biden in the DOA category, and he's going to really struggle to get to 270 votes. And Donald Trump's path to victory may have just become far easier than before. Now, if you guys did enjoy the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to hit the post notification bell, make sure to follow the Twitter, and join the Discord in the description down below. And I hope to see you guys very, very soon.